What if I told you that the 2026 F1 season is going to be the first litmus test for Laurent Mekies? Now, Laurent Mekies took over from Christian Horner mid-2025 when Horner was fired by Red Bull. The second half of the season was good. They almost won the championship and just Max lost out by a couple of points. While that was the case last season, the 2026 F1 season has started impressively. The power unit seems to be competitive. How competitive, we'll see. At the same time, the car seems to be in a good place. So overall, the team has not dropped back, which was probably one of the fears for almost everyone who was following Red Bull and its first power unit program. It is even safe to say that if Max Verstappen ends up being the favorite for the 2026 F1 season, it's not going to come up as a surprise. And if he wins the championship, it would be an impressive feat, but it would not surprise anyone. With that being said, the 2026 F1 season is the first litmus test for someone like Laurent Mekies. Why? Let me explain. So before I proceed, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button as well. It will help take this video to a larger audience. Let's get back to the video. Now, first of all, if I'm talking about Laurent Mekies, the second half of the 2025 F1 season, Laurent Mekies was showered with praise for that revival. If we are being honest and technical, did Laurent Mekies make an impact in that second half of the season? He probably did. Of course, he is a new team boss, so he will come in with the fresh ideas. And if we go by Max Verstappen's views, the team was stagnating a bit, and Mekies brought a different kind of energy that helped. While all of that is true, there's also a reality here that the uptick in performance of the Red Bull car, it was primarily down to the upgrades that had been ordered and put in effect by none other than Christian Horner at the start of the season. During the second half of the season, while Red Bull was bringing in upgrades, teams like McLaren were not. And ultimately that helped Max bridge the gap to the two McLaren drivers. Now for the second half of last year, Mekies got a lot of praise, but was all of it deserved? I'd say probably not, because the larger credit, in my view, it went to Christian Horner because he was the one who put the strategy in motion. Mekies was important, but was he the differentiating factor in Red Bull's revival? I don't think I agree with that notion. 2026, however, is going to be the year which is probably the one where the entire team would have his DNA. Now, even in 2025, at some points you could see that some of the calls that were made, they were primarily made from Mekies. Be it Red Bull taking a step back from the back and forth with the McLaren race engineers for the Lando Norris magic tape, or be it Max Verstappen not really putting all his eggs in one basket and trying to back up the field in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. There was some element of Mekies being involved there because someone like Christian Horner, he would not have taken a step back in any which way. That's just not how Horner ran Red Bull. However, this is a new team now, and this is a team with a different culture, a different leadership, and a lot of things are changing. The 2026 Red Bull is going to be significantly different from what we've known Red Bull to be in the last 20 odd years. There won't be any Christian Horner, there won't be any Helmut Marko, and as a result, you are looking at an outfit which has changed its DNA. Now, while that is the case, there are arguably three key areas where Laurent Mekies might be tested the most. The first of them is the management of the second driver. Now, Red Bull as an outfit under Christian Horner and with Max Verstappen as the lead driver, it has followed a certain philosophy. That philosophy means that the first driver or the lead driver takes the priority in almost everything. And by everything, I mean pit stops, strategies, the direction for car development, and anything under the sun. Even claiming that every penny spent at Red Bull is spent to make Max Verstappen a champion is not too far off the mark. As a result, what we've seen is a gross wastage of the second driver. Drivers like Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, Sergio Perez, Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda, all of them have been paired alongside Max Verstappen and have been made to drive a car that can only be driven with a very peculiar driving style. And without a doubt, all of these drivers failed. This season, we have Isaac Hadjar next to Max Verstappen. And there would be a question mark on how Laurent Mekies goes about managing the second driver. Are we looking at a change of guard where the second driver is given more attention, is basically treated in a more level pegging to the first driver? Or are we going to have business as usual? We are going to have a repeat of what happened with Checo, Liam Lawson, Gasly, Albon and others? We have to see. And ultimately, if it remains business as usual, you have to question how much of a mark is Mekies leaving on the team. Because if things stay the same, what difference is Mekies making in that case? Next up, the second element is going to be the fact that Red Bull cannot afford to lose Max Verstappen right now. It is safe to say that the entire Red Bull operation is built around Max Verstappen. He is the backbone of it and he is the resource that is the prized asset, and everything is catered and built around that one driver. While that is the case, Red Bull is not the favorite to win the championship this season. The team that arguably is Mercedes. And if Mercedes is the favorite to win the championship, it is a major threat for an outfit like Red Bull, because Max Verstappen in the past couple of years has already had a chat with Toto Wolff, and those chats were for a potential move to Mercedes. Now, in the last couple of years, one can argue that Red Bull essentially had a better overall package compared to Mercedes. But in 2026, if the reporting is accurate and if we can see that Mercedes ends up being the benchmark in Formula One, then Max could be swayed. He already has some good relations with Toto Wolff, and at Red Bull, some of his key confidants are not there anymore. There's no Helmut Marko, Christian Horner is also gone, and the team is an entirely new outfit. One could argue that a lot will depend on where Red Bull is by mid-season, because if reporting is accurate, Max Verstappen needs to be within top 2 in the championship by mid-season for him to not activate an exit clause from Red Bull. If he is within top 2, then Max is arguably staying at Red Bull. But for him to be within top 2, Red Bull has to be competitive against Mercedes. And for now, it seems that Mercedes will have the edge, and so might teams like Ferrari. Losing someone like a Max Verstappen is going to be a major blow for Red Bull. The entire operation has been built around him since 2018, 2019. And if he's gone, you have to find for a replacement that's good enough to fill those shoes. Finally, and probably another important aspect, is the fact that Christian Horner is going to come back to Formula One. Which team, with whom, we don't know. But there's going to come a point when Christian Horner is back. And when he does, there is a possibility that we could see a bit of a talent exodus from Red Bull. Now, Red Bull as an outfit, it was essentially built brick by Christian Horner. And once he was shockingly fired out of nowhere, it left a bitter taste in the mouths of many at Milton Keynes. It has been reported that there are a lot of Christian Horner loyalists that are staying at Milton Keynes for now, but if he comes back and he offers them a role, they would jump the ship. For Laurent Mekies and Red Bull, this is a serious warning, because we have to remember Red Bull right now has just undergone serious brain drain. Key people like Adrian Newey, Rob Marshall, Jonathan Wheatley, and you can keep going. Some of the stalwarts of Red Bull have left the outfit and gone ahead and joined rival outfits. For Mekies, if he ends up losing a few key personnel, that is going to add even more pressure. And if there is more pressure, the pressure would only be multiplied because there's a Red Bull board sitting in Austria which will have serious questions to ask. So all in all, for 2026, Laurent Mekies is facing a scenario where he has to make sure that Max Verstappen does not leave the team. He has to make sure that the second driver is not a debacle once again. And he also has to make sure that Red Bull does not go through a resource drain when Christian Horner comes back. Now, these are serious challenges, and they will have an overall impact on how Red Bull performs this season. This is the first real litmus test of how good Laurent Mekies is, and we'll ultimately get to know what he's made of if he ultimately ends up succeeding on all these parameters. So yeah, what do you guys think? Will Laurent Mekies impress in 2026, or will he end up being a disappointment? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a comment if you liked the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.